Okay, this will be the first scene of The Slow Regard of Silent Things. And the first chapter is called The Far Below Bottom of Things. When Ari woke, she knew that she had 7 days. Yes, she was quite sure of it. He would come for a visit on the 7th day. A long time, long for waiting, but not so long for everything that needed to be done. Not if she were careful, not if she wanted to be ready. Opening her eyes, Ari saw a whisper of dim light, a rare thing as she was tucked tidily away in Mantle, her privatest of places. It was a white day then, a deep day, a finding day. She smiled, excitement fizzing in her chest. There was just enough light to see the pale shape of her arm as her fingers found the dropper bottle on her bed shelf. She unscrewed it and let a single drip fall onto Foxen's dish. After a moment, he slowly brightened into a faint gloaming blue. Moving carefully, Ari pushed back her blanket so it wouldn't touch the floor. She slipped out of bed, the stone floor warm beneath her feet. The table near her bed held a basin and a sliver of her sweetest soap. None of it had changed in the night. That was good. Ari squeezed another drop directly onto Foxen. She hesitated, then grinned and let a third drop fall. No half measures on a finding day. She gathered up her blanket then, folding and folding it up, carefully tucking it under her chin to keep it from brushing against the floor. Foxen's light continued to swell. First, he was merely a fleck of light, a distant star. Then more of him began to iridesce until he had grown firefly bright. Eventually, he grew all over tremulant with light. He sat in his dish, looking for all the world like a blue-green ember slightly larger than a coin. She smiled at him while he roused himself, until finally he filled all of Mantle with his truest, brightest blue-white light. Then Ari looked around. She saw her perfect bed, just her size, just so. She checked her sitting chair, her cedar box, her tiny silver cup. The fireplace was empty. Just above that was the mantelpiece, her yellow leaf, her box of stone, her gray glass jar with sweet, dried lavender inside. Nothing was nothing else. Nothing was anything it shouldn't be. There were 3 ways out of Mantle. There was a hallway and a doorway and a door. The last of these was not for her. Ari took the doorway into port. Foxen was still resting in his dish, so his light was dimmer there, but it was still bright enough for her to see. Port had not been very busy of late, but even so, Ari checked on everything in turn. The wine rack held half a broken plate of porcelain, no thicker than the petal of a flower. Below that was a leather quarto book, a pair of corks, a tiny ball of twine. Off to one side, his fine white teacup waited for him with a patience that Ari envied. On the wall shelf sat a blob of yellow resin in a dish. There was a black rock. There was a gray stone. There was a smooth, flat piece of wood. Apart from all the rest, a tiny bottle stood, its mouth open like a hungry bird. On the central table, a handful of hollyberry rested on a clean white cloth. Ari eyed this for a moment, then carried it to the bookshelf. She looked around the room and nodded to herself. All good. Back in Mantle, Ari washed her face and hands and feet. She slipped out of her nightshirt and folded it into her cedar box. She stretched happily, lifting up her arms and rolling high onto her toes. Then she ducked into her favorite dress, the one he'd given her. It was sweet against her skin. Her name was burning like a fire inside her. Today was going to be a busy day.